So today we're diving into, I think, one of the most just whiplash-inducing stories in the entire biblical narrative. We're talking about the prophet Elijah.
Oh, it's just an incredible pivot, isn't it? You have this peak moment on Mount Carmel. I mean, this is the Super Bowl for a prophet.
Absolutely. 1 Kings 18 is pure Hollywood. He's alone, he's facing down hundreds of pagan prophets, and he calls down fire from the sky.
Right. And not just any fire. It consumes the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, the dust. It even licks up the water in the trench. It's total undeniable power.
The crowd just falls on their faces. They're shouting, "The Lord, he is the God." You can't imagine a bigger win. It's a complete public vindication.
You'd expect him to be invincible after that,
Yeah.
ready to just march into the Capitol and, lead this massive national revival.
But that is not what happens. Not at all. Queen Jezebel gets the news, and she sends him a very short, very chilling message.
Yeah, it's basically, by this time tomorrow, you're going to be just like one of my dead prophets.
And this mighty man of God, the one who just controlled fire with a prayer, what does he do?
He runs. He just turns and runs. He doesn't pray for more fire. He doesn't confront her. He flees.
And he runs far, something like 80 or 100 miles, all the way down to Beersheba. He leaves his servant there and then goes another day's journey into the wilderness. He wants to be completely alone.
And that's where we find him, under a broom tree, just broken. He actually prays to die.
That line is just devastating. It is enough. Now, Lord, take my life, for I am no better than my fathers. To go from that mountaintop to that pit of despair, it's the very definition of burnout.
It is. It's this textbook case of what we'd call leadership burnout. His expectations were just completely shattered. He thought that huge display of power would change everything.
I thought it would turn the nation around, or at least Ahab and Jezebel.
Exactly. And when the only result was a death threat, he felt like it was all for nothing, a total failure. So he just withdraws.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to follow Elijah from that broom tree to Mount Horeb, the mountain of God, and see how God restores a leader who is completely out of gas.
And we're going to unpack that famous phrase, the still small voice, to see what was really going on in that quiet moment.
Okay, so Elijah is in the middle of the desert, he's exhausted, and he wants to die. But of course, the fact that he ran proves he really wants to live.
It's a contradiction, right? But God sees right through it. And God's first response is, well, it's not what you'd expect. There's no immediate correction.
No lecture, no Elijah, have more faith.
None of that. The first response is completely practical. It's holistic care. God recognizes that he is physically and emotionally broken. A sermon would be useless at this point.
So an angel comes,
Yeah.
the messenger of the Lord, and he just touches him. And there's food.
Simple food. A cake baked on hot coals and a jar of water. And the angel actually comes to him twice.
And he says that one critical line, "Arise and eat, because the journey is too great for you."
That phrase is just so important. It's God acknowledging his human limits, his weakness. It's not a condemnation, it's a statement of fact.
And this miraculous food gives him the strength to travel for 40 days and 40 nights.
All the way to Mount Horeb, which is another name for Sinai. The symbolism there is just, it's so thick.
Right, 40 days. That immediately connects you to Moses on that same mountain.
And to Israel's 40 years in the wilderness. It's a time of being stripped down, of isolation, and of being remade. The physical replenishment had to come first. You can't receive deep spiritual truth when your body is shutting down.
It's such a powerful lesson in itself. Tend to the physical needs first. Rest. Replenishment. The deep conversation can wait. So after this long journey, Elijah gets to Horeb. He finds a cave and hides. This is the place where God revealed the law, the place of thunder and fire.
And it's here that the word of the Lord finally speaks to him. Not with a spectacle, but with a question. A very direct, very simple question.
What are you doing here, Elijah?
It's designed to make him state his case, to put his internal turmoil into words.
And his answer, it's like a pre-rehearsed speech. He gives the exact same answer twice in this chapter, which shows you how stuck he is in this mindset.
It really is. It's a three-part lament. He starts by defending himself. I have been very zealous for the Lord God of hosts.
Like, I've done my part. I've worked so hard.
Exactly. Then he points to the failure of everyone else. The people of Israel have forsaken your covenant. They've torn down your altars. They've killed your prophets.
And then comes the real core of it, the emotional center of his despair.
I alone am left, and they seek to take my life.
That phrase, "I alone am left," it's a classic cognitive distortion, isn't it? It's what happens when you're under extreme stress.
Absolutely. He's exaggerating. His fear and exhaustion have created this intense tunnel vision where he genuinely believes he's the last faithful person on earth.
And that sense of isolation, combined with the fear and the feeling of failure, that's the toxic cocktail that just completely undermines you. He's basically saying, it was all for nothing, and now I'm finished.
Right. The physical journey got him to the mountain, but his perspective is still stuck back in the desert under that broom tree. He needs a fundamental realignment.
So this sets up one of the most famous scenes in the entire Bible. It's this incredible inverted theophany.
Yeah, God tells him to go stand on the mountain. And then he proceeds to show Elijah where he is not.
Which is so counterintuitive. Elijah's probably expecting another Mount Carmel moment. Bring the thunder, wipe out Jezebel.
That's what you'd think. And the sequence starts just like that. First, a windstorm so powerful it's shattering the rocks.
Then an earthquake.
Then a fire. And fire is, the classic sign of God's presence. Moses in the burning bush, God on Mount Sinai in the fire.
But the text hammers this point home again and again. The Lord was not in the wind. The Lord was not in the earthquake. The Lord was not in the fire.
It's a deliberate undoing of Elijah's expectations. God is showing him, yes, I can command those things. I did it for you on Carmel. But that is not the totality of who I am. I am not confined to spectacle.
So if God isn't in the big, loud, dramatic events, where is he? What happens after the fire?
This is the moment, the linguistic and spiritual climax of the whole story. The Hebrew phrase is kol damama dacha.
Okay, let's break that down because every translation seems to struggle with this one.
They really do. So kol is the easy part. It means voice or sound.
Got it.
Damama is where it gets tricky. It means calm, stillness, or even silence.
Wait, so a sound of silence? That's a contradiction.
It is. And then you had the last word, dachka, which means thin, small, fine, like a fine powder or dust. It's something almost intangible.
Wow. Okay, so you can see why the translations are all over the place. The King James Version gives us the classic still small voice.
Which is beautiful, but maybe misses some of the texture. The NIV goes with a gentle whisper.
I've also seen a sound of sheer silence.
That one, from the NRSV, gets closer to the paradox. Some scholars have even suggested something like a sound of deafening silence to capture that feeling of an intense, audible nothingness.
A sound of sheer silence. That completely changes the feeling. God isn't speaking in a tiny voice. He's present in the absolute absence of noise.
Exactly. He's choosing quiet intimacy over overwhelming power. He's accommodating Elijah's traumatized, fragile state. The last thing Elijah needed was another terrifying, loud display. He needed quiet reassurance.
So when Elijah hears this sound of sheer silence, he knows immediately. He recognizes God's presence in a way he didn't in all the chaos.
And he responds with humility. He wraps his face in his mantle, his cloak, and stands at the mouth of the cave.
And then God asks him the exact same question again. What are you doing here, Elijah?
And, unbelievably, Elijah gives the exact same three-part answer. I've been zealous. They've all failed. I'm the only one left.
Which proves that just seeing the quiet theophany wasn't enough. It didn't magically fix his perspective.
No. Real restoration needs more than just a divine experience. It requires new instructions, a new way forward. And this is where God's response pivots from passive care to active recommissioning.
So instead of coddling him or agreeing that he's all alone, God gives him a to-do list.
A very concrete one. It's the cure for his despair. God says, essentially, stop looking inward. I have work for you.
And the mission is threefold. Go anoint a new king over Syria, a new king over Israel, and, crucially, anoint Elisha to be your successor.
He's given a future. He's told to delegate. He's shown that the work will continue even after him. It pulls him out of his self-defeating introspection.
And then God delivers the final piece. He directly confronts Elijah's biggest cognitive distortion, the I alone am left lie.
This is the knockout punch of reassurance. God says, by the way, I have reserved 7,000 in Israel who have not bowed the knee to Baal.
7,000. So he wasn't alone at all.
Not even close.
Yep.
And think about what that means. The big, spectacular fire show on Carmel didn't convert the nation. But his quiet, faithful, day-to-day ministry over the years that had produced 7,000 faithful followers.
So the true fruit of his labor wasn't in the spectacle. It was in the quiet faithfulness that he couldn't even see.
Precisely. God was showing him that quiet fidelity is more valuable and more lasting than a single spectacular performance.
Elijah gets it. He goes immediately. He finds Elisha plowing a field.
And when he throws his mantle over Elisha, Elisha's response is just total commitment. He slaughters his oxen and burns his plowing equipment to cook the meat for a feast.
He's destroying the tools of his old life. No turning back.
It's the perfect picture of the community and the renewed hope that Elijah so desperately needed to see. He's no longer alone. He has a successor.
It's amazing how this ancient story about burnout and recovery still echoes so powerfully today. You can even see it in the world of classical music.
Oh, absolutely. Felix Mendelssohn's oratorio, Elijah, which premiered in 1846, is a masterpiece. It's right up there with Handel's Messiah in the choral world.
And does Mendelssohn's music capture this pivot we've been talking about, the switch from spectacle to silence?
He does it brilliantly. The Mount Carmel scenes are full of, thundering choirs and a massive orchestra. It's all fury and power.
The spectacle.
Exactly. But when he gets to Mount Horeb, the music completely changes. For the still, small voice, he strips everything away. The orchestration becomes incredibly thin, sometimes just quiet strings or a solo voice.
So he forces the audience to lean in and listen.
He does. The music itself models God's accommodation. It shifts from overwhelming power to quiet, relational intimacy. It's a perfect musical reflection of the theology.
And bringing it into our world today. The things that broke Elijah. The fear, the isolation, the despair. I mean, that's the story of so many leaders now.
It really is. We talk about compassion fatigue or the immense pressure on people to be perfect, to always perform at a high level. The Elijah story is a warning.
It tells us that ignoring our own human limits,
Mm-hmm.
it always ends in a crash.
Right. That angel's voice saying the journey is too great for you is something we all need to hear sometimes. We need rest, we need guidance, and we desperately need community. We need to know about the other 7,000.
So restoration isn't just a spiritual idea, it's holistic. You have to care for the body, the mind, and the spirit.
You do. And seeking that sound of sheer silence is really about learning to find God's presence in our weakness, not just in our moments of strength.
You know, when you look at the whole arc, from his prayer under the tree to his final days, it's just incredible. Elijah prayed for God to take his life.
And God answered that prayer, just not at all in the way Elijah expected.
No, he's one of the only figures in the Bible who never actually died. He was taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire.
A prayer for death born from total despair was ultimately answered with eternal life, but only after God led him through the wilderness and taught him how to listen for the quiet.
It makes you wonder, what do you need to stop running from, or maybe stop searching for in the fire and the wind, in order to finally hear that quiet assurance that you are not alone?